What's up, everybody? My name's Kels, and this is the Same 24 podcast. We're the show where faith fuels the hustle, purpose drives success, and every day we ask, what will you do with your 24 hours? And I got my man Jonny with me. This is the first episode. I'm so excited for this. This podcast is going to change lives. I'm going to build the sickest community around this, where we're going to be hosting calls once a week. We're going to be doing Bible study every Thursday. So make sure you tap in with that. Before we get going, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and that you also go follow me on all socials at Kelleness, and then follow Jonny as well. But today we're going to be talking about Jonny and his entrepreneurial journey. And that's really what this podcast is about. It's about entrepreneurship, faith, family, relationships, and just life, man. And we got a really important message that we want to get out today. And first, I'm going to go ahead and let Jonny introduce himself and let him share some of his accolades that he has had over his life.
So my name is Jonny. I'm a New York transplant down here in Miami. A good friend of Kel's for almost a decade now, going back and forth from when he used to live in California. And my entrepreneurial journey is one of a million successes and a million failures, which is what every entrepreneur needs to keep in mind. Business on a day-to-day basis is just dealing with problems you didn't anticipate. That's all business is.
Being like a firefighter, exactly.
If you would have anticipated the problems, they wouldn't have happened. And I've never seen a business plan fail on paper. So every business is just day in and day out putting out fires where they pop up. And I've just been, I've been blessed with failures, as crazy as that sounds. I've failed more times than I can count. And that gives you the experience. And when you hire someone as a specialist or a consultant in any field, what you're paying for is their experience with failure. And I've been diversified in the kind of markets I've been into in different fields and different careers that I've had. I feel like I've had 10 lives already. And that leads me to a decent amount of knowledge in a bunch of different areas.
Yeah, your restaurant, dude. You had a restaurant in New York. It was
Still
called,
do.
What's it called again?
Alba. Cucina Alba is up in New York.
That place, look, if you guys are in New York, I'm telling you, that place is a 10 out of 10 Italian spot, and it is one of the hottest in the city. I'm not just saying that because Jonny's sitting here next to me. You know, the first time I ever got engaged, we had our engagement dinner there, and that place was absolutely insane. Super fire.
Yeah, I'm a small piece of ownership there. Helped raise some of the funds to get that place open. They opened up a second spot in LA recently.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Cucina
Okay.
Alba is the name of the spot. Check it out. Food's definitely really good.
So you also been in real estate and you've been in cannabis. What's like, and you do a lot of VC funding too. What's like your favorite area that you've operated in? Is it cannabis? Is it the restaurant space, the VC space? Is it real estate?
I've done a lot of work off the record for a lot of brands and companies. I love the creative aspect that goes along with the beginning of launching new companies. So the
like branding.
Coming up with the logos and the packaging design, and there's a really artistic side to that people don't even realize I possess. But making a company look good, look cool, the packaging, the feel, the vibe, the color scheme, all that stuff, going through with the owner. I've done this pro bono with a couple dozen different people, friends of mine, as they launch their products and companies, and just kind of helping them take whatever ideas they have in their head and put it into real life and bring the products alive with a real vibe and feel.
That's amazing, man. So you've had a lot of success, and with a lot of success comes a lot of learning experiences. And you've had the cars, you've had the jewelry, you've traveled the world. And with all that being said, the message that we really want to talk about today is people chasing what society has deemed success. And people literally waiting to start families, not have kids, all because they're chasing these highs that come with entrepreneurship, these dopamine hits where literally people are waiting to have kids until they're damn near 40 years old because they're so obsessed with, they're chasing the wrong things instead of chasing God, right? Faith is going to be a big part of this podcast, and that's something we're going to be talking about frequently. But like I said, people are chasing all these material things and not chasing God. So I want to talk a little bit about that and what's that look like for you. Were you ever at one point in your career chasing the material things and you thought that what was going to bring you happiness? Because I know for me, like when I first started getting money, I was buying the jewelry, I was getting the cars, the watches, taking the trips, and I thought those things what were gonna make me happy. But I want to hear your side of it first and what your thoughts are on that.
No, absolutely. I think it was Jim Carrey's quote that he said, "I wish everybody could get fame and fortune to realize that it means nothing in the end." And by no means was I famous. By no means was I even as rich as these people, like an actor or stuff like that. But when I grew up, my idols were all ball players and rappers and whatnot. And my fantasy in my head was that when my life looked like a music video, that was going to be the place where I felt like I arrived. That's the goal. That's the end goal. And looking back, what a stupid goal for multiple reasons. One, selling myself very short on what I'm capable of. Two, how vain, superficial, and skin deep most of my goals were. And three, just putting my energy in the wrong place and focusing on the outcome and not the actual process. Because you'll learn, I don't care what it is, I call it the empty summit paradox. You go chasing this goal you have in mind. If there's no real purpose behind it, if it's an aesthetic appeal you're chasing, you want to have that look, you want to be driving that car and have this jewelry, whatever it is, you're going to accumulate all those things. And you're going to get there and realize that it really wasn't what you thought it was going to be. And it's not a sustainable feeling. You might feel good driving that new car off the lot, but at best, I mean, I'm someone who's had 40, 50 cars in my life. And
Rolls Royces, McLarens.
I mean, everything. And I could tell you that my first car, that was a $400 a month lease, brought me more joy than my second Rolls Royce did. And that sounds stupid, but that's the truth. And I feel like that a lot of people go their whole lives without ever reaching these milestones that they think are going to get them that happiness and fill that hole that they feel by getting a Lamborghini. Or down here in Miami, we see it everywhere. But I mean, I promise you, it's anyone who looks like they're living that life and they're super happy. They're either A, miserable off camera, or B, it's just new to them. Talk to me in 10 years. Go 10 summers buying the cars and going to these places and tell me, like everything else in life, it doesn't just get old.
Quick question for you. How many times have you bought a piece of jewelry, got the car, and then you drive it for a week and you're like, that's it?
I mean, let's say I've had 40 cars, so 39, I guess, other than the first one.
Yeah.
It never lasts. It never feels. Chasing it, and the moment when you get it is as good as it gets. Like I say, with like a boat, a best day in a boat owner's, two best days in a boat owner's life is the day they buy the boat and the day they sell it.
A boat.
It's a very short-lived high, and it's very superficial, like I said. And I love nice things. I still like nice things. It's just finding that balance and realizing that they are a happy byproduct of success in chasing a greater purpose. The goal can't be the things. The goal has to be a greater purpose, whether that's God for you, which it probably should be, or just some kind of greater purpose of helping other people, helping your family, whatever it is. Listen, don't get it confused. Money is very important in the world we live in. Unfortunately, everything revolves around it. But you have to just focus on using it as fuel. It's a resource. It's a finite resource that can do good for the people around you, put people in positions to succeed. But it's not going to make you happy. It's not what you think it is. And I can speak from experience. Like I said, I wasn't a billionaire and I wasn't, world famous, but I had enough where I caught myself on what I don't know, it's not my term, but what I've discovered is called the hedonic treadmill. The hedonic treadmill is this ancient philosophy where basically you get stuck chasing and you set a goal of what you think is going to make you happy. You acquire it very quickly. You realize that's not enough. And then you move the goalpost something higher. So the best example on when I caught myself was years back. I was sprinting on the hedonic treadmill as fast as you could. I had 5 cars. I had 6 watches. And everything was this, not realizing at the time, was to fill this void that I felt. I just thought that eventually I would feel better if I had more of that shit. And after that, 1 car is not enough, 2 cars, 3 cars, better watch, better play, whatever it is, you keep going up. And then one day I was on the road on the way to the city to go meet my jeweler. And I remember when I was a kid, the first person I saw with a Breitling, I'm like, that kid's the man.
Yeah.
It was a kid who was a mortgage broker in Boca. We were 18, 19 years old. He was 21. He had a little more money than us. He had a Breitling, which is probably like a $10,000 watch iced out. I'm like, that's the man. One day when I get like that, I'm gonna have the Breitling. I'll be the man. You know, that's the subconscious little voice in your head. Even though I didn't say it out loud, that's kind of what moves you. I got the Breitling a few years later. You know, felt cool for a few weekends out, showing it off. Then I'm like, now what? And then I see someone walk by. This is when Jay-Z had that line about Tebow and the Gator band and his Hublot. So I went to the city, bought a Hublot. Same thing happens. And I'm not realizing I'm in this hamster wheel on this hedonic treadmill. And I'm like, nah, I see someone with a presidential Rolex. I'm like, oh, this ain't shit. All of a sudden, the thing that I thought was amazing, you know, the thief of joy is comparison. And now all of a sudden, I need that gold Rolex. I get the gold Rolex. Oh, this is it. Another gold Rolex. Then I'm AP. No, this is it. Then I'm on the way to the city with an AP, trying to trade it in to get a Patek, and I literally pulled over on the Parkway, and mid-trip from Long Island to New York City to meet my jeweler and said, this is the same thing I said last watch and the watch before this and the watch before this, and I'm gonna end up in 2 weeks from now looking at a Richard Mille, and it'll just never end. There is no bottom to that hole. You think you're climbing up, but you're literally just digging deeper and deeper, and it's not fixing whatever it is that's missing on the inside. And for me, at that point in my life, it was purpose. It was all my goals were aesthetic, they were monetary, and I didn't feel like I had the purpose to keep going. And what was driving me was all the wrong things. That was back in 2019, right before COVID. That was it.
It was like the same thing with me, like my whole life. You know, I was always looking for validation from my father, because he wasn't really there. He was there, but he wasn't there. He lived in a complete other state. So, you know, my whole life I've always worked for someone else, and I've always been trying to get this outside validation.
Male validation.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think it's so important that these kids have present fathers in their life. And I can't wait to be able to share my testimony and save so many people's lives. Like literally, this podcast, like I was your test dummy, and now I'm your helmet to protect you from what I went through and all the years of just pain and guilt and just hating myself. Like,
time wasted.
And
you never get back.
Yeah, but in this case, I don't even look at it as time wasted anymore, because now I get to help so many other people come to God and find out who they truly are and what their purpose is. And everyone has the same purpose. Is to create the man or woman that we admire in all ways of life and give that person back to the world each and every single day. For example, man, I just...
I admire in that vein the way that you are with your son.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was the same way. I had a great dad, but my father wasn't a day-to-day involved guy. He's old school, you know, he's out there working. And I think subconsciously as I grew older, same thing, I seek that external... I had no brothers, so I seek that external male validation through friends and through proving yourself in different ways, and it usually goes in the wrong direction when it happens to that. Luckily, I wasn't in an area that had gangs, otherwise I probably would have been...
Well, I was damn near in a gang at one point in my life.
Yeah.
And these guys convinced me to do things that were absolutely horrible. And
Let me just finish that point. So now I see you with your son and how present you are with him and how you affirmed the right things in him. It's admirable. And I look at it and I really I admire that about you and your relationship with your son. It's amazing to see. And I hope when I have a son, which is hopefully soon, that I'm the same way with him. I'm very present and to mold them the right way, because those first 7 years they develop who they are primarily in the beginning, and there's no going back after that. It's very hard to unlearn what they've learned in those beginning stages. So I really wanted to just give you your flowers on that, because it's amazing how you are with your son.
Man, thank you so much. Yeah, the other night I got sad a little bit because we were talking, and my son's at a point now where he could have real conversations with me, and he's like, Dad, you've been kind of frustrated with me lately. And for a 3-year-old to say that to me, like, literally broke my heart. And I've been going through so many changes. If you guys don't know, I literally just left the OnlyFans space. I was in it for 5 years, and I was working for someone who I was always constantly chasing validation from. And that person kept me in this box to where I truly would need him and need to, well, don't let me play victim here, but I truly feel like I was damn near manipulated to some point to always need him, and just never helped me get to a point to where I would be good on my own, to where I would always just be stuck working for that company. And I'm happy that I left. The OnlyFans industry is a satanic place. It is horrible. I don't wish that upon anyone. You know, I led a lot of people down a path that I wish I didn't have for selfish reasons. I was living a very selfish life. And now that I've given my life to Christ, I'm going to bring everyone back to him. And, you know, a lot of people were able to make a lot of money, but at what cost, you know? You could have everything in the world, the cars, the jewelry, the trips, this beautiful life. But if you don't have Jesus in your life, you literally have nothing.
I think so. The cars, the trips, all that stuff. Most people never reach a point in their life that they get to live out their dreams, the shallow dreams I'm talking about, the ones that I had. And that was my biggest learning mistake that I learned at about 30 years old. And I still struggle with it. But everything that I thought chasing, that a point you were going to get to, where that was going to be like it wasn't. And I like I said, I wish people could experience that. Let's just do a thought experiment for a second. Let's just say I gave you a lump sum of cash that was in one day could change your life and got you everything materialistically that you think you want in your life. Everyone, especially I can only speak for, young men from 18 to 35, whatever, who haven't been there, who haven't been able to do it on their own. Let's say I gave you the blank check and said, go buy the car that your dream car you fantasize about. Go buy your dream watch and chain that if that's your cup of tea. Everything that you fantasize about and that you watch others have and you want. And I want you to think about and a vacation too, most baller trip. You're gonna spend all summer long going around Europe, going to Saint-Tropez, going to Mykonos, going to Ibiza, getting the lit Instagram story at all those parties, popping Dom P, all that stuff. How many times do you think you could do that before it'll get played out? I mean, there's guys driving Lamborghinis in this area that are tired of their Lamborghini. There are guys who are dating girls that are 10 out of 10s and they are miserable with them. Can't wait to get away from them. It is absolutely imperative that people understand that, like everything else in life, those things get old fast. And then you're stuck with, okay, now what? If you've constructed your whole life around chasing materialistic things, sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you is you actually get them. And that's what I feel like I suffered. I got those things young and was kind of lost. I spent a few years really sputtering, trying to figure out, like, well, now what do I do? Because I have those things that I thought was the final resting place.
Yeah, that were going to bring you happiness.
And it didn't.
Just
it absolutely didn't. And I wish people understood that without having to make the mistake first. And I think a lot of times people see it and they go, like, easy for you to say.
Yeah.
But I promise you, everyone that I speak to, every affluent person that I speak to has the same feeling about it.
Same exact story.
I have friends with, a couple dozen supercars and they're meaningless to them. It really gets to that point. You need to find purpose. You need to have something deeper than that surface level stuff to keep you going. Otherwise, you may just get what you want and really send you for a tailspin.
Yeah, I went and stayed with a billionaire recently. His name's Wright Thurston, and my friend's family, his business partner, Rhett, in Puerto Rico, a $60 million house. It's the biggest house in Puerto Rico. And these guys are the most humble people you ever meet in your life. And the way they operated is the money is just a byproduct of everything they have created, but the way they operated as a family unit was insane. And I'm like, this is it right here. Like, this man truly has created the life that he wanted, and he doesn't care about the money. It's about his family and helping other people and having God in their life. Like, we prayed every meal. We prayed before bed all together.
Those are the only real things that matter.
And just the way they operated, it was so beautiful. Like, I literally was in tears. I'm like, this is it. Like, this is what it's all about, is
amazing.
Having the freedom to be able to live your life with your family, and all this material shit, like, it doesn't matter. And like, all these people are living for this stuff because it's what society has deemed successful. And like we said, this is what I want to get into, is like, women are literally waiting till 40 years old because they think it's about the handbags. They think it's about the trips. They think it's about the cars. They think it's about going to the club and flexing online. And they're so worried about their body and getting these BBLs and
the way they look.
The way they look. And none of that shit's gonna matter. Literally, you're gonna be 40 and you're gonna look crazy as hell. You're gonna look crazy as hell, and then you're gonna look up and you have no family, you have no husband, you have no nothing except 10 years worth of Instagram pictures.
And a long time ahead of you.
And a long time ahead of you alone.
The crazy dichotomy with this stuff is that these things that are not important are important to so many people that they actually are relevant. It gives people the wrong impression. All those materialistic things, these status symbols that change the way people judge you, actually do shift people's perspectives of you, which is sad, but it's the truth. But it makes it even easier to get lost in the sauce. Because if you're getting this validation and all this attention from these things, it makes you feel like you're on the right path.
It's
and
a
you're
high.
doing the right thing. Yeah.
You're chasing that dopamine constantly.
But you couldn't be getting further away from the source and from your purpose. And I've seen it on a firsthand basis day in and day out, which is interesting. So I had this interesting situation back in the day where I had a work truck that I had from my one of my jobs, and then I had my regular vehicles. And just seeing the way that I would get treated when I went around my neighborhood in one car compared to the other was amazing. I could be at 12 in the afternoon in a Ford Taurus with stock, nothing done to it, wearing very plain clothes and hopping out to the same pizzerias or the same restaurants or the same whatever, and people either not looking at me or looking at me dismissively. And 2 hours later, 3 hours later, when I get off and I'm running around the neighborhood, now I'm pulling up in a Mercedes with rims on it, and I'm dressed with a watch on and dressed with a fly outfit on. And those same places, everyone's snapping their neck. Everyone all of a sudden wants to be extra nice to me. Everyone's talking to me. And the same valet guy who was curbing me a minute ago is now sprinting to get my keys. So it does change the way you get treated in society, which is an extra layer that you have to peel back to realize that just because most of society's lost doesn't mean it's the right thing. And we talked about this yesterday for a while. The world has become so selfish, and all this social media breeds narcissism. And everything is focused on me and the way I look like and what I project to others. And everyone's comparing their lives to the highlight reel of everyone else's, making themselves miserable by comparison, something that's not even real. And even if it is real, is all the wrong shit anyway. And it has really fucked us. Like, as a whole, our culture has never been worse off. We are elevating OnlyFans, digital prostitution to the highest level. These girls get the most attention and people are giving them fame and fortune. And we have people shunning religion. If you talk about God or Jesus or your faith, people look at you like a weirdo.
Like you're crazy.
But if you bend over and show your ass for dollar bills online, people think you're lit.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Could we be any more far away from where we're supposed to be?
Literally ass backwards. And a little bit on the OnlyFans thing is like, these poor women, they go into this space, they probably had these dreams and aspirations of doing different things with their life, and then they get into the space, and then 2 or 3 years later, they've made such easy money that they have literally lost themselves. They lost their sense of self. They lost their sense of identity because all they have to do is shake their ass and tits in front of the camera, and then they have this paycheck come in.
But the problem is there's a shelf life, right? No one could be OnlyFans girl at 50 for the most part.
Yeah.
So you're going to get to the point where now your only experience is in a business you can no longer do. The internet's forever. You're now branded as a prostitute or a porn star or adult film content for the rest of your life. You're going to have to, your family has to deal with that. Your future kids have to deal with that. Your future employers might not want to do that, want to be involved with you. Your future spouse may not want to be with you because of that. And worst of all, you've now totally distorted your perception of work. How can you possibly go for a fair wage job after that? It's like you hit the lottery and now you want to go back. And usually the lifestyle starts to go up with the money. And then when the income stops, pulling back that lifestyle is very hard to do. I've had to do that myself, where the money has not been what I'm used to. And going down in lifestyle is very, very difficult. It's rough. Very hard.
It's rough. And just to touch on that, what you just said, I had an old client reach out to me the other day, and this story, it breaks my heart. She had an 11-year-old son, I think in 5th grade or something like that, and the kids are showing his mom's nudes to all the other kids in school, and this 11-year-old kid tried to take his life. No kid, a child, 11 years old,
that's awful,
should want to take his life because his mom is posting these pictures of herself naked on the internet.
That's the
It killed me.
unanticipated costs of, a selfish lifestyle. That easy buck does not come free. There's strings attached to that.
It's so look, there's no judgment here. I was in the industry for 5 years and I led a lot of people down that path. And like I said, I'm here. I've repent for my sins. I've asked God for forgiveness. And this is why I'm using my platform that I have now grown to bring people back to him and use this in our community here. I'm going to be teaching people how to make money online, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's e-com, whether it's building a personal brand or utilizing the personal brand that you have built in the OnlyFans space, but bring you back to God and show you how to make real money. But it is going to be hard work. It is going to suck. Like for me, I walked away from $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month, and I don't know where my next check is coming from. But I have put all my faith into God because I know my God, he could do anything. He could literally do anything. And my testimony is absolutely crazy. How this even all started was, God has been pulling on my heartstrings for the last 3 years to get out of this space. I thought it was so cool. I was doing New York Fashion Week. I was doing LA Fashion Week. I was flying all over the place.
Stuck on the treadmill.
I was stuck on the treadmill. I had all these beautiful women around me. It was just insane. And then I convinced myself every day that I was going to hell. Literally. I was depressed. I was sad. I wanted to take my own life at one point recently. And then when it came to that, I was like, I got to get out of this space. So I quit. I called my business partner and said, hey, I'm done. And it's so crazy because the day that I did that, I was sitting in church and my old pastor from Scottsdale, Arizona, Pastor Darrison, thank you, God, for him. He was moving out to Miami and I talked to him 2 months prior. He's like, yo, I'm coming out to Miami. And he kind of always kept his distance a little bit because I was, in that space. And I respect that. And that man is damn near I wouldn't say a perfect man, but he is by the book. So, but I texted him that day while I was sitting in church. I said, hey, Pastor Darrison, I left the OnlyFans space. Like, I need some advice. I need some help right now. He said, Kellen, you will not believe this. My jaw is on the floor. He's like, I was with my buddy yesterday. I was in the Amiri store and I was telling him about you. You got brought up somehow. And we literally prayed over your life and said that you would be leaving the OnlyFans space soon. And that man literally prayed for me. And then the next day I leave the space. And then right after that, I was just like, oh my, like I was shaking. I was like in tears. And then right as I'm about to leave the church, I was telling my girl the night before that I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to use my platform for good. And there's a podcast studio here in Miami called Move Podcast Studio. And I couldn't remember the guy's name and I couldn't remember the Instagram. And then as I'm leaving church, I see the owner of the podcast studio. I literally see him and I walk up to him. I was like, bro, you will not believe this. I just had this experience and now you're here in front of me. And then after that, he says, Kellen, let me one up you. I said, what? He pulls up his notes and literally, I'm not number 10. I'm not number 4. I'm the next person to call on his to-do list. So God literally showed up in my life and said, like, it couldn't be any
life
more
will
blatant.
show you when you're on it, when you're in alignment.
Yeah.
100%. It'll show you when you're in alignment and when you're out of alignment. I've wanted to rant online about the OnlyFans space for a while, and I haven't. And part of the reason why I haven't was because you were in it. And I didn't want you to feel like it was a personal attack on you. I didn't want it to negatively affect your business or whatnot. But I have a big problem with the OnlyFans space. Listen, people are adults. They can do whatever they want with their, their free will, and moral and illegal are two different things. And I would never want legislation against OnlyFans. People are free to do what they want. But the problem is that besides the obvious immorality of it, I'm not here to push morality. There is a fraud going on. And I'm not saying your company, because I have no inside knowledge of what you guys are doing. I'm just saying in general, I know for a fact that many companies is the biggest, most widespread fraud I have ever seen in any industry in the OnlyFans space. You have people, mostly blue collar, hardworking people, or people in their mother's basement using the last funds they borrow from their mom, pouring money into these girls' accounts, get for messages and pictures and whatnot, and to have these dialogues with these girls. And newsflash, if you didn't know already, you're not talking to these girls. You are talking to someone in India in a call room, or Philippines in a call room. You may be talking to an AI bot, or you may be talking to a middle-aged man. You are not talking to that girl. I promise you. She has 1 million subscribers. You think she has time to get back to you? Just do the math. It doesn't work out either way. One day there will be the biggest class action fraud lawsuit against OnlyFans for what they've done the last 5-10 years, siphoning money from men under the impression they're talking to a specific individual that some of them have fallen in love with through this online relationship. Meanwhile, they're talking to a dude. They're talking to a guy on the other end saying the things to make them feel good just to get the next dollar out of them. And I've seen guys give their last dollar to some 19-year-old. Honestly, most of these girls are not even that attractive. I don't know what goes on here. The biggest ones I've seen in the game are like average girls you'd see out at a bar.
But they feel like they got a shot with them.
But they're pulling these numbers. Some of them are making more than NBA salaries. And it's like,
$500,000, $1 million a month.
What the fuck is going on? How fucked up are we as a country? Then you have the perversion of these men that are doing like timers, waiting for these 17-year-old mini online influencer celebrities to turn 18
and then go buy their shit.
To then go buy, subscribe to their things. The girl,
Bad Baby.
Nothing against her. There's no shot at her as a female, but she was 17
or whatever.
17 and 9/10 years old, and it's illegal. You go to jail, and then all of a sudden the clock turns. People are giving every dollar to her.
And you know those
her.
pictures were taken before she was 18. That's the fucked up.
Disgusting. And it's that space needs to be. There needs to be something. Something needs to happen.
It needs to be canceled. It needs to be.
I'm a free market guy. I'm a big capitalist guy. I'm a big, like, do what you want to do, libertarian. If you're not hurting anybody else, type of deal. And two consenting adults, like getting legislation involved is very hard for me to get behind. But the fraud aspect of it, we're talking about billions of dollars cumulatively, and it's all fraud. You're not talking to. I don't know how people don't know this already, but if they,
it's like WWE, it's like wrestling.
But if
people
they
know
knew,
it's fake, but they're still doing it.
But this is the equivalent of betting on WWE, not knowing it's fake. If you knew that these girls really weren't talking to you, would they still be sending their paychecks to them? And maybe somewhere in the fine print of the 12 pages of terms and conditions that nobody reads, it says this. But no one knows that, and everyone is being misled, and there's billions of dollars. I mean, there's an attorney out there who, wants to make a big case, start a class action against OnlyFans, and I may have somebody for you.
Also, I want to talk about you saying you didn't really want to talk about it because I was in the space and it would make me feel uncomfortable. But the reason why I'd feel uncomfortable is because morally, we know it's wrong. We all get the same message. Our conscience is the most authentic voice of God. And these poor women are using drugs. They're eating shitty food. They are doing anything, buying all this material shit, doing anything and everything they could do to not listen to their conscience.
Deep down, they know it's wrong.
Yeah, everyone knows it's wrong. We all get the same message from God.
You have to be really messed up to not realize what you're doing is immoral. Like, and this was the best way I've seen it broken down by someone was, the guy was whatever did. He goes, I love when my mother and my father come to my office and they come and they see me work. And the question was posed to the OnlyFans girl, how would you feel if your father showed up to the set to watch you work?
Bro.
And I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about what you're doing is right or not.
Yeah, exactly.
And listen, I'm not Jesus. I'm no saint.
We're not here to judge anyone. We're here to help.
I'm any better than anybody else, but I'm just saying, as a whole, our culture is so fucked up right now, and it's gone to such smut, and we've elevated all the worst things, and we have such a trashy culture at this point. And that situation to me is just the peak of it. OnlyFans is the peak of the rotten apple that is America right now, unfortunately.
I had on my old podcast, the Game God podcast, I brought this girl on. I didn't drop the episode because she burst out into tears. She did a 8-person gangbang with 8 BBCs, the biggest dicks you've ever seen. And her father saw it, and he almost had a heart attack. Like, legit had to go to the emergency room, bro.
These are kind of things that scare me to have a daughter. I mean, I'd like to think that if I had a daughter, the way that I would raise her would make her never, ever even come close to this stuff. And I think that 99% of the women in this space, if we had a poll, I guarantee you either have a terrible relationship or no relationship with their father. It's very hard to think of somebody who has a good relationship with their dad, and a dad is present in their life.
And having God in their life.
Going down that route. But man, that's awful. I couldn't imagine being that dad. That is, I mean, health excluded. This worst thing that could happen than your daughter being gangbanged online. I mean,
8 dudes.
that's it's really disturbing. But it all goes back to this selfish culture that we've and I've been a selfish person myself at
Me
times in my
too.
life and way too much care about the way that myself, the way I feel, the way that I look, and me. And I try to do my best to give back. I try to do my best to help people around me. I try to do my best to be a good friend. But it's a it's a natural instinct to a survival mechanism even built in to worry about yourself first. And it's just why I think that most people who take on religion in their lives end up being better people because it teaches you to put others before you, putting God before you, anything but yourself first.
Yeah. And guys, if you just pick up the Bible and you start reading it, all the answers to life are right there. You can't fail the test when you literally have all the answers. It's like being in 5th grade where you had the math book and all the answers are literally in the back of the book. This is what the Bible is. You just have to pick it up and read it. I suggest that you start on the book of John. That's where I started. And literally everything in that book just relates to whatever you're going through in life. You just have to pick it up and read it. That's it. And, having God and Jesus back in my life has completely changed my perception of life and what truly means something to me. And this is the best I've ever felt from someone that was deemed that had I had 7.2 million followers online. I had the big agency and the big company and all the girls, the cars, the jewelry, the big chains, all that stuff. And I felt so empty and I was so confused. I was like, why do I feel so depressed? It's because I was literally choosing each and every single day to disregard the voice, my
Because
conscience.
all those things you listed mean shit.
Yeah,
They mean shit.
I disregarded. I was choosing not to listen to God. I heard the message every day, and that's why I was depressed, because I choose to do the exact opposite of what I knew was right. It doesn't feel good.
We're in the capital of that right now. I mean, Las Vegas was Sin City for the longest time. Las Vegas has kind of, since COVID, really been not like itself. I think Miami is the new Sin City, and it's just the most materialistic place I've ever seen in the world, especially because, I mean, you have places like Dubai and Monaco where you might see even crazier cars and yachts, but the money there is different. The money there is a different level. People over here are spending everything that they have to look good on Instagram. People splitting, 4 guys living in a condo, splitting rent and splitting a Huracan lease payment. You have everybody with this. Listen, the way I broke it down the other day is there's only like a couple different characters. If you had to create a player in a game like Madden or a video game, down in Miami, it's like, okay, everyone has the same 5 cars. Everyone has the same 5 jewelry brands. Everyone has the same goddamn necklace, one of 2. Everyone has the same 5 brands that they wear. Everyone is exactly the same. And they're spending everything just to project that image, just to be like 5,000 other guys that are in this area. And the shit is old. And these guys think that they're doing something. And, since COVID, a lot of guys have new money. They either made money in COVID or for the first time through this TikTok explosion or through crypto, whatever it is. Money is new to them. And they think they have life figured out because they made it with their Urus and their Moissanite Cuban and, their Amiri shirt, which, listen, I've had all of those things.
Yeah.
So I'm guilty, but speaking from experience, that's why I can tell you they mean shit. And right now you might feel good about it, but in 5 years from now and 10 years from now, it's all going to be played out. You can't do that. How long can you sustain that? How long is that going to make you happy for?
And that's why we're talking about this, to wake everyone up.
I wish I could shake some of these kids that are doing great financially, 18 to 25 years old.
Multi-millionaires.
Making big money, have the world by the balls, but you can't get this time back. And you need to think long and hard right now about where you want to be at when you're 40, 50 years old. And start thinking about how you can structure your life around purpose. Because no matter how much money you make, if what you do to make the money doesn't fulfill you and isn't moral and ethical, in the long run, it's going to be a disaster. I've never seen it work out for someone.
And that's what these men and women are doing right now. They're not thinking long term. They're thinking selfishly right here in the moment. And that's why these women are going to end up lonely with no family and no kids. And that's going to be a very sad life. I want to wake y'all up. I want you guys to have, I felt like when I had my son, it changed me. it's the whole reason why we're here on earth is to literally procreate. There's no better feeling in life than having my son look at me and tell me he loves me, to hold me, to hug me, to sleep with me. Like, I can't wait to have more kids. Like,
I don't like to give advice to women, because unless a girl comes to me and asks me about her man or what she should do for her man, and needs a man's opinion, I can help there. But I can speak to young men, 18 to 30, just because I've done that. And nobody ran through their 20s harder than I did. I'm telling you, the pitfalls and everything like that, I'd like to mentor more people in that area to help them with the learning curve and avoiding all the problems that I ran into, all the mistakes, not from following what I did in a good way, avoiding a lot of the things that I did and the mistakes that I made. And my biggest thing would be, live your 20s. Go have fun. Go try as many things as you can, business-wise, female-wise. When you have the freedom of no family to move around and see the part of the country you like, you don't even know what you like yet. Especially if you only lived in one place your whole life and you're just getting out on your own for the first time, you don't even know what you like. And even if you think you like it, will you like it in 10 years? So go and experiment with as much stuff safely as you can. I'm talking about drugs, talking about with lifestyles, with careers, with jobs, all these things. And then get that out of your system. Live out that selfish life in your 20s. By the time you're 30 years old is when you should start thinking about having a family, as long as you're able to. In my opinion, I wouldn't even consider dating seriously until then. This is me, I don't want to speak for you, but I would say in your 20s, don't take anything too seriously. Treat women fairly. You can have monogamous relationships. If things don't go well, don't fight. It's not life or death. I promise you can have a couple of those girls that feel like the last one. They're not. Walk away amicably, find someone else. And then by the time you're 30, you know what you like in that category too. And then you start thinking about having a family. Because I found that when I hit that treadmill, that watch story, that peak I was telling you about, all that was God telling me, you've done it all for yourself. Another trip to, Mykonos, another car, another stuff's gonna fill this. You've experienced it all for yourself. Anything more is now being selfish. Now it's time for someone else to get this experience in life. And you need to find a partner that you can bring someone into this world with and give them the guidance, save them the heartache as much as you can from all the experience that you have, and bring someone else into this world. And I can't wait. That's my next chapter. It took me a while to figure that out. I'm closing on fucking 40 now. I'm 37. So I lived that selfish lifestyle. The ups and downs, the failures, the experience. And now all I want the next chapter is moving my day-to-day career to something that's more aligned with my purpose, and giving and expanding upon the charity that I have, the Fresche Foundation, the 501c nonprofit that I have, because that's where I feel the most rewarded, is when I do things for other people, not myself. I don't get that much gratitude, I don't get that much enjoyment out of doing things for myself. And starting a family. I want to have a couple of kids and teach them everything that I know. I have so much game to give. I just can't wait to have, hopefully I'm as lucky as you now. Can we say it or?
No, yeah.
That we have, just good health.
Yeah, good health, yeah.
And he's got a son, which is, I hope that I have.
See, me
also, and I'll be happy with the girl too. Is healthy is all that matters. But I want to have a couple of kids soon.
Yeah, see, me personally, I would tell people to have kids sooner, because all these things that I've experienced in life.
Sooner than 30?
Sooner than 30, yeah.
How old do you think?
I would have had kids when I was 21, bro.
Really?
I think sharing life experiences with my son is the coolest thing in the world. Like, I wish my son would stay.
Were you mature at 21?
Huh?
21 knowing what you know now, or 21 when you were
21 knowing what I know now?
Yes, that's the hard part.
Look. The thing is, I'm going to say, if you're 16, 18 years old, like, get a mentor. Someone who's really lived, someone that really has like the accolades that you are striving for in life, but get a mentor to help you not bump your head and go through life the way I did. I was a drug addict. I did a lot, just so many bad things. Like, I think
people have the wrong idea of what mentors are good for, and people think that because what worked for you might not work for me, and vice versa. There's a lot of variables. People are different. People's setup in life is different. I think there's a big misconception about what the value is in having a mentor, because what worked for them might not work for you. It's not a one size fits all thing. Everyone's different in their life, their variables as far as even their personality type and what kind of person they are. But what will work across the board is what to avoid. There are certain pitfalls that you only learn through experience. And, when you tell me something that's like, I've seen that movie, I know where this is going, don't do that, go there, whatever it is. And if you're a young man watching this podcast and you're struggling in your 20s and you have questions about relationships and business and all this stuff, reach out. I'm not charging for it. You could DM me. I'll
Where
give
can
you
they find you
at Jonny Fresche on Instagram. We'll put it below so you can see the spelling. Fresh is my company name and my nickname. I'll do my best to make time to help you. I can't tell you how many people reach out to me privately with big problems in life or whatever it is, small problems to big problems in life, and ask for my advice. And
Johnny's one of the smartest
repeat.
people that I know for sure.
And,
when it comes to business, life, anything, like he helped me. He gave me some really good advice when I was going through my big breakup with my ex-fiance.
And all I can do is tell you from experience. And if I had a younger brother, or when I have a son, what I'll tell him is what I'll tell you. And hopefully I can help you avoid making the same vast amount of mistakes that I've made in my life.
Yeah. So look, like I said, I'm building out a community here. It's only $9.99 a month. And what that comes with is I'm going to be hosting a call once a week, whether I'm interviewing someone like Jonny. It's going to be a live Zoom call, so you'll be able to come up and ask questions. The first 30 minutes is me interviewing that person. The next 30 minutes is just asking questions. I'll be doing those sometimes by myself. And then every Thursday, I'm going to be hosting a Bible study because, like I said, I'm trying to bring people closer to God. I'm going to make being a good Christian man cool again. Instead of out here, just doing all this other nonsense that people are doing, God has called me to wake people up and bring him home. So that's what I'm going to do. And then make sure that you guys please follow our podcast. It's the same 24 on all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. And then me is just at Kellen Ness. And then Jonny, do you have anything to close them out with?
Yeah, just realize that most of the people that you idolize online are miserable in real life. Their curated vision of what their life looks like that you see online is not reality, and far from it. Most of them are miserable. Even the good things that they do or the cool things that they do are a very small part of their day. And don't get caught up chasing all these things. I know it sounds cliche, but trust me, it is bullshit. It means nothing. Spend the money on your mother. Okay, give her a trip, buy her a bouquet of flowers. If you don't have a mother, your father, your sister, whatever it is, spend quality time with the people around you. Something that I'm trying to now do more of. It's hard. Most of my family's in New York, but I value the time that I'm there more than anything at this point. And I'm maxed out. I really don't have any aspirations for myself materialistically anymore. I don't care. There's no car that I'm looking at anymore. I don't have any more. I gave away my watches, my cars. That's all gone. I really could care less about any of that stuff anymore. I'm trying to align myself with people in my life that are on the same moral compass as me. It's a mistake that I've made is, misplaced loyalty can hurt you more than anything, whether it's with a female or male. Be careful who you surround yourself with.
Misplaced loyalty.
And who you're loyal to, because that'll drag you to some places that you do not want to be. And it's hard. Just your proximity is very important. You could be in the car driving with somebody and you get pulled over and all of a sudden there's something in the car that's maybe illegal and it's not yours. But at least how I grew up, you don't rap by omissions. You can't say, well, it's not mine, when there's only one person in the car. Now you both go to jail just because you were with somebody who was doing the wrong thing. Or you're with the wrong person who's maybe got problems with people you don't know about. You're out and now both you guys get into physical altercation. You just want to be careful with who you surround yourself with because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So do that calculation. And
then I got a question. I'm going to be asking this same question to everyone I do a podcast with. So say your life is coming into an end and you have 24 hours left. What would you do with those last 24 hours of life?
Wow. If you had 24 hours to live.
24 hours to live, what would you do with it?
It's one of my
you could do anything. Doesn't matter.
My favorite songs of all time.
Literally anything in the world. And you have all the money in the world. Anything.
Well, I'm getting on a flight. I'm flying directly to JFK. I'm going to my parents' house, calling all my family that's in New York to come meet me there and spending the day just, depending what time of year it is, around the fire or inside, whatever it is, around the nice home-cooked meal, chicken cutlets for my mom, and and just talking with people that I care about the most. And yeah, that's all I would do, because family at the end of the day is the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that's permanent. It's the only thing that's real. And to me, that's how I spend my last day, no question.
All right, perfect. And we're gonna end this thing with a prayer. Do you want to lead?
You can lead.
Okay, come on. All right, dear Lord, thank you for bringing Jonny on my podcast. Thank you for all the insight that you instilled in this man and all the life that he has lived, and he's able to share this wisdom with everyone else here on this podcast. Lord, that we ask that you please, anyone that's watching this podcast, that you please wake them up and you please bring people into their life that lead them closer to you, and help them have the discernment to not have anyone come into their life that leads them further away from you. Lord, I appreciate you for the opportunity and the platform that you give me, and I promise I will steward it, and I will do everything I can to glorify you. Dear Lord, thank you just for everything, and we are grateful that we're even alive today. And in Jesus' mighty name we pray, amen.
Amen.